Killer was good, man.
How you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, man. Today I almost cried thinking about you, man.
Cam started crying, man.
For real, how you doing these days, man?
I see you every day. This morning, I literally see you every day. So just this morning, you about to...
Cam going up against me is like Fredo going up against Michael Corleone.
Things in hip-hop just got spicy again, and once more, Harlem is at the center of it all. Maze and Cameron, the Harlem legends who turned their viral talk show is what it is into a cultural phenomenon. Just straight-up embarrassed Dame Dash. And what's wild, they didn't even raise their voices to do it. After Dame tried to take credit for their success, Maze and Cam clapped back with that signature Harlem humor, sharp, slick, and deadly precise. It wasn't a fight. It was a masterclass. Dame came swinging with ego, but they walked away with the crowd, the laughs, and the truth on their side. The internet's still on fire over it, calling it the roast of the year. Now here's the thing.
Right now, unless Jake feels like being nostalgic or whatever, you're gonna see those hats that you wear. It ain't. We could go Rockefeller every 5, 6, 7, 8 years, but this is what we pumping.
It's what it is
right now. Exactly. So it's never not a problem to feel nostalgic and reminisce. But if you do too much of that reminiscing and just base everything you doing off of what the past was, you just gonna sound like a nigga with a bunch of stories and you old and bitter and so on and so forth. The thing about the nigga Jay, in my opinion, is he's been so great at being not just irrelevant, seen but mysterious. You know what I'm saying? He don't got to come talk about nothing. You figure it out. You want to talk? All right, whatever. I don't care. Go look at the next announcement I make.
Dame Dash just can't seem to keep Maze and Cam out of his mouth. Every few months, when things calm down, he finds another way to stir that Harlem pot again. After years of quiet tension, he's reignited the feud, and this time, it's louder than ever. Recently, Dame jumped on a smaller podcast, talking that old-school Rockefeller talk. Ownership, loyalty, hustle. At first, it sounded chill, like the Dame of old, reminiscing on his grind. But halfway through, his tone flipped. Suddenly, he was claiming Maze and Cam's hit show what it is came from his mentality, that their boss energy came from watching him hustle. The internet wasn't buying it for a second. Fans lit up the comments saying things like, Dame's still living in 2002, and bro, it's not.
He's Cameo.
It was just this morning you go cry for me?
Yeah, man.
Right, man.
Yeah.
I hear you, man.
You never told me about you and Big L and Dame being in the car.
I was on my way to the hill, me, him, and Big L. And I made a left on Amsterdam into a checkpoint, and I didn't have a license. But at that time, they didn't really always lock you up, but they sometimes did. So I was like, yo, I think I can get out of this, but I'm just letting y'all know I got 3 bricks in the car, but I'll wear it.
It's not Roxy's anymore. Because let's be honest, Dame didn't build that show. Maze and Cam did. No label, no investor, no industry strings attached. Just 2 Harlem legends using pure chemistry, raw humor, and unfiltered energy. They turned it as what it is into a movement. So when Dame tried to rewrite the story, fans called him out immediately. One viral comment said it best. Dame got to stop trying to collect rent on buildings he didn't build. And Maze and Cam, they didn't even post a rant or tweet about it. They handled it live on air. The very next
yeah, yo, I seen that. I didn't know me, Big L, and Jay was in the car together.
Cam started crying, man. And he told us right then and there that he would put himself in PC. Dude, I'm putting myself in PC. Me and Big L like, what?
I didn't even know that me, Big L, and Dame have ever been in the car together.
Oh, man.
I was going to save that for my show because I didn't want to get into this. I really didn't want to get into it.
Yeah, I was going to mind my business, but I saw Mo with the popcorn. I said, so he's taking my part,
hey,
boss.
I've never get Mo got the
I'm out here talking with Flea.
So we went to the side and was like, you know, afterwards we were laughing, but I was like, I will never hustle with him. He's a ball player and he does music. So I never really, he's a civilian. But you can't be saying you're the best that ever did it in Harlem and you never sold drugs. And if you had to go to Ohio after you was a rapper, that's not the best that ever did it. How dare you say some shit like that?
episode. It was calm, clever, and completely lethal. Maze looked dead into the camera and said, Yo, stop letting people rewrite history. Ain't nobody teach us how to talk. We was born with game. It was the perfect setup. Cam followed up with that signature Harlem smirk, saying, Dame out here acting like he invented hustle. Nah, He just loud about it. The studio exploded. The chat went crazy. The internet crowned them kings of clapbacks once again. But beneath all the laughter was something deeper. You could feel the weight of what they were saying. This wasn't just about jokes. It was about setting the record straight. For years, Dame's tried to attach his name to every Harlem win, acting like the puppet master behind every success story. From Dipset's run to Maze's comeback, he's always claimed he inspired the hustle. But this time, Harlem wasn't having it. Maze and Cam made it clear Dame's influence ended a long time ago. The city outgrew him. And when they fired off those lines, it felt like poetic closure. Like they were finally cutting off the last string, tying them to an old narrative. And man, when that episode hit social media, it went crazy. Clips everywhere. Millions of views flying across TikTok, ex-Instagram. Fans quoting Cam's lines, turning them into memes. People were spamming the comments under Dame's old interviews, saying stuff like, Harlem's unpaid life coach strikes again, and somebody get Dame a time machine. He's stuck in the Rockefeller era. Even the big hip-hop blogs jumped on it. Maze and Cameron roast Dame Dash for rewriting Harlem history. It wasn't just a viral moment. It was cultural balance restored. But here's the thing. This wasn't hate. It was truth mixed with evolution. For years, Dame's been preaching ownership and independence. But his tone's been aggressive, bitter, and outdated. Maze and Cam flipped that narrative. They show that you can be powerful, confident, and bossed up without yelling about it. They redefined Harlem's energy. Calm, funny, and effortlessly dominant. And that's why this roast hit different. It wasn't cruel. It was mature. Two men who once admired Dame finally freeing themselves from his shadow by proving they didn't need him to shine. Because let's be real, Dame didn't fall off overnight. There was a time when he was that guy. During the Rockefeller glory days, he was the loudest voice in the room. Sharp suits, bigger talk, unstoppable drive. He was Harlem confidence personified. But when the Rock split, Jay-Z moved quietly and built empires, while Dame kept talking, stuck in that same loop. And over time, that voice of confidence turned into an echo of bitterness. Every podcast, every interview, the same stories, the same lectures. What once sounded like games started feeling like desperation, and that's what Maze and Cam exposed. The difference between legacy and living in the past. Maze summed it up perfectly when he said, "You can't take credit for something you didn't create just 'cause you used to be around it." That line hit hard, because that's exactly what Dame's been doing for years, trying to stay relevant by standing next to the people who outgrew him. Then Cam delivered the knockout. Looking straight into the camera with that grin, he said, "Next time Dame talk about us, I'm sending him an invoice for emotional consulting." He clearly think he managing us again. The studio lost it. Maze doubled over laughing. Everyone behind the scenes was cracking up, and the internet went nuclear. Within hours, that clip was everywhere. Millions of views, thousands of reposts, endless memes. It wasn't just funny, it was final. Because in that moment, Harlem made it clear. The torch had officially passed. The old Rockefeller energy, the yelling, the ego, the chaos, that's done. Maze and Cam are the new Harlem blueprint. Cool, self-made, unbothered, and undefeated. You shouldn't even have to call me if you're going to be talking about 50 Cent like that. That's what set this whole thing off. Gene hopped online and said, "Yeah, and this man Cam let 50 Cent smack him on the ass." The internet froze for a second because that line wasn't loud or dramatic. It was surgical, calm, precise. The kind of honesty that cuts deeper than yelling ever could. It was Harlem's way of saying, the era has changed and not everybody got the memo. Then Maze stepped in with a line that hit straight to the heart of Harlem's truth. Harlem's problem, he said, is too many people want to be the boss of everything, even when they didn't do the work. The crowd went silent. That one hit home. Then Cam followed up smooth as ever. You can't claim everybody's success just because you yelled the loudest in the room. That combo hit harder than any diss track, because they weren't just talking about Dame Dash. They were talking about an entire mindset that's been holding Harlem back for years. The truth is, Dame had every opportunity to evolve. He could have teamed up with Maze and Cam, supported the new movement, and earn his flowers as one of the pioneers who helped put Harlem on the map. But instead, he keeps acting like the game owes him something. Every time they win, he tries to slide his name into the celebration, like he's part of the story they built without him. But the truth? The game moved on. The audience moved on. Harlem moved way on. It doesn't celebrate old egos anymore. It celebrates growth, creativity, and resilience. That's why this roast wasn't just a clapback. It was a shift in energy. When Cam and Maze laughed about it on it, is what it is. They weren't petty. They were powerful. They turned an insult into a masterclass in composure. While others ran online, they let humor do the heavy lifting. They dropped gems, stayed calm, and kept racking up millions of views. That's how you win, by staying funny, focused, and getting to the bag. Even Dame's longtime supporters started flipping sides after this one. The comments said it all. I respect Dame's hustle, but he gotta stop dissing people who ain't thinking about him. And that's when the tide turned. For the first time, people weren't listening to Dame. They were laughing at him. And when the laughter's louder than your legacy, that's when your power starts slipping. Maze and Cam didn't even have to yell. They just let Harlem do what Harlem does best, roast you into irrelevance. Dame tried to hit back. He went live saying they can joke all they want, but I'm still the blueprint. But the internet had already chosen a side, and it wasn't his. The roast clip spread like wildfire, chopped into memes, remixes, and viral edits. Harlem had spoken loud and clear. The city's future belongs to the ones still building, not the ones still bragging. Maze closed that episode with pure grace. We not beefing with nobody, he said. We just telling the truth, and the truth don't expire. That line sealed it in stone. Harlem's new chapter isn't about who shouted the loudest back in the day. It's about who's still standing tall today. Because Maze and Cam weren't trying to destroy Dame Dash. They were simply reminding him of his place. There's a big difference between being a legend and being a liability. Dame's still respected for what he built, but his attitude turned his legacy into a warning sign. Harlem's new generation isn't scared of him anymore. They're laughing, learning, and leading. Cam doubled down, saying it best, Harlem always gonna be Harlem, but we not stuck in 2001. We outside, we moving forward. You either evolve with us or get laughed at from the sidelines. And that's exactly where Dame is, on the sidelines, watching the same city he helped shape evolve without him. Meanwhile, Maze and Cam are thriving, cooking, creating, and collaborating like never before. They turned every diss into motivation, every criticism into content. Fans kept tagging Dame under every clip, saying, see what happens when you talk too much? Harlem made it clear, talk less, work more. But here's the twist. Maze and Cam aren't doing this out of hate. They're doing it out of pride. They love their city too much to let outdated egos block progress. It is what it is isn't just a show. It's Harlem's heartbeat in real time. It's raw, it's funny, it's fearless. The jokes hit, but the truth lingers. They're showing you don't need to brag about being a boss when you already move like one. That's the new Harlem formula. Build, joke, cash out, repeat. Maze and Cam don't argue with the past. They outshine it. They take the shade, flip it into laughter, and turn laughter into legacy. That's what real power looks like. Because in 2025, the real bosses aren't the ones talking about ownership. They're the ones who actually own their platforms. And when it comes to Harlem's future, Maze and Cam made it crystal clear. The crown doesn't sit on nostalgia anymore. It sits on results. Harlem's throne belongs to those still putting in work, still connected to the culture, still evolving every single day as, oh yeah, Dame tried to rewrite history. But all he did was write himself into the punchline. Because when the world starts laughing with your replacements instead of at them, the message couldn't be clearer. Harlem moved on, and it's never looking back.